We are live. Once again, everybody, I'm having a little snack here on podcast number 16, the Powerstroke Tech Talk podcast. We have Matt, we have Reeland Ryan, and Nate coming from the west side of Washington State. Heidi ho from Washington. DS, my man's sleepy, so he's sleeping. Daddy Diesel, he's sleeping. But we're going to chill with us for tonight, and we're going to talk about, the same thing we talk about. Actually, maybe something a little different. We're going to talk about school buses for a little bit, because we got 3 dudes right now on here that work on the Bluebird application with the Roush Clean Tech kit fuel system, and it is propane powered, and they are Ford chassised, Ford engine, Ford trans powertrain, and it is coupled with that Roush kit. So first off, I guess if Nate, you just want to say how long you've been working on school buses, and kind of just maybe what you do, and what kind of just explore into there.
Yeah, so I started working on school buses in 2004. So for a couple of years, I've been working on school bus stuff. And the last 10 years or so, I was a mobile mechanic. So I was driving around the state of Washington for the dealer, fixing buses, doing warranty issues, recalls, stuff like that, advanced troubleshooting that maybe the districts didn't have time to deal with or whatnot. So resolving that stuff. And then I recently branched out on my own, started my own. I took a couple of years off and then started my own business doing mobile mechanic stuff on school buses. So yeah, about a year or so doing that on my own.
Heck yeah. What you say mobile mechanic, what are you working out of? Do you got like a box truck, or what kind of setup you got?
So I have a kind of different setup. I have an F-350 with a pickup bed, and I put a canopy on it and a cargo glide, so like a bed slide. And then on that cargo glide, I mounted a couple of snap-on top boxes. So those are bolted to the cargo glide, and then I throw all my tools in that.
Interesting.
I like it. That was the most recent setup that I had when I was working for the dealer, and I really liked it. I liked working out of snap-on boxes rather than compartments. I found that with compartments, they were more susceptible to moisture and tools starting to turn orange. So, but when I switched to the snap-on setup, toolbox setup, I found that kind of went away. And then I also like being able to fit through drive-throughs. When you're in a compartment truck, service truck body, usually it's like a dually, or it's too long, too wide, whatever, to fit through.
So help us paint a picture. What are we working at? What do we got? A crew cab? We got a long bed, short bed, color?
So it's a crew cab, 2016 long bed.
Oh, okay.
Ruby red, single rear wheel.
Okay.
And the lariat package. So way back before I started this business, in chatting with the wife, we wanted to get a camping trailer. And so we figured, well, let's get a truck first. And then we'll figure out, something to pull later. And then this opportunity kind of opened up and decided to just kind of turn that vehicle, which was just going to be a tow rig, into a service truck.
Excellent. What powers that?
So it's got the 6.7 in it.
Heck yeah. What you got for mileage?
I'm at 102,000.
Okay. Anything wrong with it?
Warranty.
Everything good with it?
There have been a few minor things that need to be addressed. So I bought it last fall, so I've had it just over a year. It had like 75,000 miles on it, and since I've had it, I did purchase it with ESP.
Oh heck yeah! So, cool.
It's not so much the base engine that I'm worried about; it's all the after treatment stuff and and everything else. So yeah, I got ESP. I've used it a few times. I've had a water pump failure.
Okay.
I've had a radiator failure.
What failure?
Yeah.
Let's see, what else have they done? I've had an emissions code for the reductant tank heater.
P20BA.
Yep. So they just took care of that like a couple weeks ago. And then right now, after I got it back from that, I crawled underneath and I was looking around, seeing, making sure they didn't miss something or whatnot. And I found I've got an oil leak on the driver's side valve cover.
Oh.
So I called them back up and I'm like, hey, I just paid my deductible. I'd like to go ahead and get this taken care of. So
yeah. What'd they say? No problem.
It's back in now. Yeah, they're like,
right,
yeah,
cool.
no problem. Oh, I did have an issue with the mirror. One of the mirrors, I was getting a code for the horizontal position sensor on the power mirror, and so I originally took that in with the reductant heater fault, and the service advisor said that it would not be covered under warranty because I had a turn signal camera mounted to the housing of the mirror. And she said, well, it's been modified, so you're on your own. I can sell you a new mirror and install it for you if you'd like. And so I pushed back a little bit at the time and said, hey, if there's nothing wrong with the installation or the component that's there, why would you just say the warranty is no good and not get it covered if it's just a defect in the part or whatever? And she said, well, we got to submit pictures and it's going to show that it's been modified or damaged, whatever. And it's like, well, there's no damage. She's like, well, you drilled a hole to mount the camera. Yeah, I drilled a hole to mount the camera. So anyway, when I picked up the truck after they were done with the emission stuff, I asked for Ford's customer service number. She gave it to me. I ended up talking to, I don't know if they're called adjusters or the guys. And I explained to them what I had going on, and I said, hey, I mounted, had this camera installed on the housing. I don't believe it's related to the failure. Is this typical? Because in my mind, I'm thinking a Super Duty. Everybody modifies a Super Duty, right?
Right.
Whether they put an aftermarket hitch on it, they
Right.
put
Give me a break.
whatever, right? Yeah, like somebody puts a dump bed on the truck. They didn't leave Ford with a dump bed on it.
Right.
So anyway, and he's like, nope, you're right. Absolutely. It's their response. They've got to prove that the aftermarket component caused the failure. And it was awesome. He pulled up my policy, by then and said, yep, they have to prove that the modification caused the failure. And then at that point, if that's the case, then your diagnosis is on you. But if they don't prove it, it's just a defective part or whatever component, they should take care of it for you. So it was awesome. Made me feel good about having the ESP coverage. So he gave me a reference number, I guess, that the dealer can use to kind of look up our conversation. I called the advisor back and I said, hey, this is the conversation I had. Here's the reference number. And she was like, okay, awesome. That's great. Typically, maybe something's changed, but typically, in the past, this is the way it's been. And I'm like, okay,
what?
Yeah, no big deal. At this point, if she's
what?
If she's willing to look at it, then yeah, whatever. The past is in the past. Move on.
That's very interesting.
I've never.
That's interesting. I've never had an issue like that. I've never looked at something and been like, I can't warranty that.
Yeah, what she was saying is that Ford is very particular with mirrors because they're so susceptible to impact damage, and they require pictures and photos of everything,
digital imaging, all that. Absolutely,
yep,
absolutely.
I did that a ton for Bluebird and Roush and stuff that I've done in the past, so I get it.
You got to do that for headlights and tail lights and all that shit.
Yep. And so she was concerned, once Ford saw that camera mounted or the hole where the camera was, they were going to consider that damage and deny the claim, and then they'd be stuck.
Yeah, they were just afraid the claim was going to get kicked, but
yeah.
I haven't ever been out there or know anybody that's been in that side of the country. Is Washington's emissions similar to California's? Do you guys have inspections and shit all the time?
We do. So I'm trying to think. It's not as bad as California, but California kind of sets the standard for everybody, right? As far as the 50 state emissions is all based on them. So, but I think on the diesel side, they don't do any inspections on that. On the cars, I think they stopped doing smog. They used to do smog checks back when I moved here. They'd have emission stations that you'd pull up into, and the state would inspect your car.
No kidding.
But I believe they've gotten rid of those. I don't know.
Wow.
My cars are a little bit newer, and I haven't had to deal with it lately, so I'm pretty sure they've gone away. But
How How far out do you have ESP till? 150,
So
125?
I believe I am covered with ESP till 123,
Oh, okay.
123,000. Yeah.
Okay. Well
So,
worth it for sure.
yeah. And then the other thing that they said when I purchased this vehicle that I wasn't familiar with is they said that I can renew ESP. So when it comes due at the end of the term, whether mileage or time, that I can reach out to Ford and say, hey, I'd like to renew my ESP coverage, and that they'll do that, I think, up to 2 or 3 times, something like that.
Really? I wasn't aware of that.
And then they also said it was transferable. And of course, this is the sales guy right at the at the dealer, so maybe take some things with a grain of salt, but
I've heard
that's
it be
what,
transferable.
yeah,
You have to pay like
transferable and refundable.
paper fee or refundable. Yeah, I've heard that. You get like a prorated charge of however long you had the vehicle. You get your hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Like I said, getting an older diesel with a few miles on it, I want to make sure I had coverage, especially with those emissions components, because they can get pricey quick.
Did you get it from a big dealer out there or a small dealer?
Yeah, I got it from a pretty good sized dealer out here.
Okay.
Probably I think they're the biggest commercial dealer as well in the state.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Wow, that's interesting. I wonder, I don't know, do you guys like, because the Pacific's being that close to the water, do you have to worry about like corrosion? Is like a bunch of cars and trucks rusted and shit out there?
Not really. We do get corrosion from the road de-icer stuff that they use around here. It's not as severe as back east. And out here, I primarily have just seen it attack wiring. You know, if somebody pokes a wire harness on a bus, it's going to get the green crusties and cause all sorts of havoc. But
I had one come in with that. Just reminded me, it was a Bluebird. It was, you know, a long one, and the turn signal didn't work. I don't know where it was, if it was in the wall in the back, and just I don't know where it was. You know how that wiring is, you know.
Yep.
I wound up having to fish tape up through, you know, take the lights out the back, fish tape through like the skeletal all the way up into the inside over it. Man, dude, you talk about pain in the butt. I spent like all day trying. I couldn't get it to make this bend, so I pull it all the way out, make this slight little bend at the tip so it could just go around a corner and fucking fish it back up there. It's like, oh my gosh, man, that was a pain in the butt.
Those can be exactly, especially with the windows back there.
Oh my
you're trying to push it through a little gap like this along the side of the window.
You can't take that window. I mean, you could take the window out, but
it's not gonna give you anything.
Dude, yeah, like it'd be pointless.
So did they have you go that far at where you work, Aaron?
Yeah. We did. I mean, we don't do it anymore.
We won't touch. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. We won't touch a Bluebird issue. If it's a Ford or a Roush issue, we'll touch it. But
we used to. I mean,
Dude, this is a thing I need to know from you, Nate. What's the easiest way to pull a hood off of one of those?
The easiest way to pull a hood? You know, I don't think I've ever pulled a hood.
Really?
Yeah.
Because getting an engine out of those is not fun whatsoever with just like...
That's what I got to do.
A cherry picker.
Okay.
It is a terrible, not fun experience of having 2 other people stand on the back of an engine hoist while you all yank it backwards because the thing's like 8 feet in the air.
Yeah,
because you didn't take the hood off?
Yeah. Dude, and the thing is, when I pulled the hood out, you know how the hood, it's like a torsion bar that holds it on. Well, you better lay down when you undo that bad boy. So if anyone knows how to get one of those hoods off without like causing severe bodily harm, I'd like to know.
Yeah, that's
the
a good point.
torsion bar should be released when the hood's closed. I think you can slide them out when they're closed.
I wonder how you get the bolts out.
I don't know. Well, no, we looked at it and diddled with it and did this, did that. We called our local Bluebird deal and they're like, we don't know. We've never had to take one off. And we're like,
well, shit.
How do you not know?
You guys building the shit?
We're not pulling the engines out.
No, because it was way easier to pull that V10 I think I was like the second school bus I had to do an engine on. It was way easier to pull that engine straight out the front than like up and over the frame rail.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever had to pull out the propane tanks out of a school bus?
We haven't had to replace tanks yet.
No, well, I mean, just I had to service the manual
OPD.
Yeah, in the tank, and it was only accessible by taking
the whole tank out.
Yeah, I had to do it twice.
Yeah. I've pulled one tank. It was a brand new unit that had a defective weld around the service flange.
No way.
And so it was just like icing up. It just had this like little tiny ice ball, like the size of a pea. And it was just propane leaking. So
did they bring it in for a propane leak?
Yeah. So, and yeah, it was a brand new bus on an inspection at the dealer that we did. We found it, and I think we found it. Somebody found it, and so we had to pull the tank. So transfer out as much fuel as you can. Then you have to vent the tank. Then you have to push the bus in because it's not going to drive on its own power.
Yeah.
And then on those, the tank slides out the back, so you got to take the rear bumper off. And then,
Yep.
And then very carefully slide this 10-foot tank, 12-foot tank.
Yeah. What would you guys use to take it out?
Forklift.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the one I did was a 100-gallon tank. So I know they have a couple options there. They have like a 68-gallon or 100-gallon.
Yeah, extended range.
And then it's symmetrical, so it wants rock. Yeah. So yeah. It's fun. Yeah, forklift or a couple of tranny jacks would work too.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
Aaron, how many Roush powered vehicles that you get in, whether it's like an Econoline or a school bus, do you see that are missing the cover on the bottom?
You mean like the surface cover?
Yeah.
Never.
Dude,
bolts missing? All the time.
Oh, bolts missing or snapped off in there all the time. But we've had a few that come in and we're like, where'd the cover go?
Yeah, maybe went through somebody's windshield. Hopefully not, but
what I don't like is the ones that I frequently work on are the E450 shuttle buses. So we have a transit company out here called Smart, and they are running the propane, and they have this I think it's called More Ride. It's like a stability.
It's got the sway bar that's like that big in the back.
Huge for the shuttle buses. Well, there's a brace that goes underneath the tank, so the tank sits wedged right between these two things. And there's a bar that goes right underneath it. Well, I don't know if these bozos are like pulling off of a loading dock and then bam, slam right into the bar and slams it into the cover. So every time I got to take the cover off, I'm like, before I even pull it in, go out and look. Yep, smashed. I think out of the hundreds that I've worked on, I think maybe 2, maybe 3 have came in and I've actually had a gap. I'm like, hell yeah. We got all the bolts, but I don't have to smack because then I got to get the torch because then the bolt won't come out. It's just like, it's just unnecessary.
That's always an unnerving feeling, torching around a propane tank.
Well, I haven't vented anything yet, so.
It just doesn't set well. Oh, Nate, how do you guys empty a tank?
So I haven't had one that had completely dead fuel pumps. Like we've had one where one of the pumps was bad. And so we primarily use that pump to pump out into another vehicle.
I like
and then when it's pretty much pumped all of the liquid out and we just have the vapor, I've done it using a 55-gallon drum filled with water, and I put the vent hose in the water.
Really?
And the water captures the ethyl mercaptan, the smell.
Really?
Yes. And so then the fire department doesn't show up and say, we have somebody reported a gas smell.
Really? That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, no, we usually just call the fire department and let them know that.
Let them know.
That you vent into atmosphere. It's sometimes
Something
a
like
scary
that.
thing to do. I wasn't fond of working on them in the beginning, but I mean, it's kind of an acquired sense of knowledge when working on it. Like for me, I mean, I know, use RDT and IDS and whatever, see the gauges on E. Yep. Try to start it. Yep. Won't start. Okay. It's got to be out of fuel. Look at the twin sight. Yep. It's on E. Okay. I'm going to do one more thing before I start, cracking these bolts, loose on the tank flange. Oh, I don't hear nothing hits from the drain. Okay. Let me just go ahead and ding, ding, ding. There's a sound to the tank. I use the same ratchet every time. I'll hit the tank before I do it, before I start cracking loose, and it just sounds really hollow. Just, ding, ding, ding. And then you'll hit it with some fuel in there, and it ain't resonating. It ain't sounding dong, 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 dong. Man, I had
Dude,
one
how many times have you gone to take the lines off like the manifold at the back of the intake manifold?
Mm-hmm.
And you've purged those lines like 10 times and you're confident there's no more fuel in there, and you pull that clip out and you give it a yank and right in the face every time.
Yep.
I did that once. I had the tool on there, the Jiffy Tight tool, to take it off, and like it was fighting me. I'm like, it shouldn't be this hard. The Jiffy Tight should just like pop the spring, and I pushed. I think I pushed the tube in. Push the tube in, which released the pressure on the spray, and then boom, and then the Jiffy Tight tool was gone, never to be found again.
Oh no!
It's like, oh man. And then of course out in the field, right? So yeah, it's just one of those things.
Have you two ever replaced, or not ever? Have you guys replaced the cat monitor in those buses at all? That is something I have done a bunch of times.
The what?
The 9G444.
Like the catalyst monitor?
Yeah, like I have done probably a dozen of those. Brand new. Like got 2,000 miles on it. Come in. Got the heater code for the cat monitor. Like, what the fuck? And that's actually Roush. Is that Bluebirds or Roush's? No, that's Roush's. Roush warranties that. So I've always had to start a ticket for that.
That's the one thing I hate the most when one of those comes in is it's like, do we go through Ford's ESP or do we go through Roush? Because Roush makes it very easy. Like I had that one school bus, their demo. I think it was one of their demo school buses. It was brand new. I think they had it listed as like a 2022 model year, and this was last year, so it would have been like 2019 I did it. It had a noise. So we dropped the pan and we shined a light up in there, and we're like, oh, those cylinders don't look good. Took a picture of it, sent it to Roush, and they're like, just put an engine in it.
What?
They literally were like, just put an engine in it.
Wow.
Hope they were shipping it to you.
The engine?
No. They have a whole bunch of them in their little assembly thing. They're like,
I think that one did come from them, but I still had to swap. Well, no.
Have you ever been to their facility?
It did come from them because
we got to tour that
long block, and I know this because I'm a complete dingaling. I went to pull the water pump out of the one that I was replacing, and the thing just jumped right out of my hands. Like just butterfinger, it just hit the ground. I'm like,
fuck. Fuck.
So I get on the phone and I call my favorite buddy whose name starts with a G that works there, and I'm like, hey, man, messed up.
I'm gonna text you right now. We're talking about him.
Like, I need a water pump. He goes, did it slip out of your hands? I go, no, dude, it jumped.
No, dude, it fucking jumped.
No, it didn't go like that, but.
Have you done many of the PTOs on the front?
Dude, those things can go straight to the bottom of hell. I didn't know it was possible to, because what size are those? 18 mil hex?
I think they're 14, aren't they? You're
Yeah.
talking about
14,
the
whatever.
center?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was possible to snap one of those in half.
Man, the socket?
Yeah,
snap the
like
socket?
just snap the socket clean in half.
Oh man, yeah.
Because those are reverse thread, right?
Yep, they're reverse
I
thread.
remember the first time we had one of those, and I think one of the guys had to do a front cover on it. And we're looking, okay, you know, it's because those are reverse thread, aren't they? They're left-hand thread.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, he gets the nuts off, he gets the one bolt off. We're like, dude, just, you got some weak impact on there? He's just giving that thing the freaking beam. It's not moving at all.
You had pulled the
So we're
radiator
like, out? Whenever I do like a front cover on a bus, I undo the support bolts and I just scoot everything forward.
Okay.
So we finally ended up putting like we put a 3/4 impact on it, and it just wouldn't go. And then it finally just twisted the socket and things went flying. We're like, what? I think that one he ended up, what did he do? I think we ended up having to cut the bracket arms off.
Mhm.
And then I think he snuck us. What did he do? I just remember the crank pulley came off with it. I don't know how it happened, what happened, but yeah, I don't understand why those things are on there so tight.
It's unusually tight.
Yeah.
No, abnormally tight. So we started putting, anytime we put them back together, we just like goop them with anti-seize now.
Oh man. Yeah, I've done a few of those, but yeah, I always do it with radiator in. So I'm using I have a the snap-on socket, but I've cut the socket shorter.
Yeah,
so
that's what we did with ours too.
And then a long breaker bar and a pipe. And yeah, but when it's getting ready to break loose, it's like, come on.
You ever
it's gonna pop back at you.
Have you ever noticed when you pull the air compressor off on those, the really, really big alignment dowel or stud that goes in like the cylinder head? Or no, it's not in the cylinder head, it's in the block.
In the block.
Do those ever come out or do they just end up breaking?
I've heard of them having issues, but I haven't ever pulled that front cover off.
Because like
that
compressor bracket stud, whatever, it's just a dowel. It's probably like as thick as my thumb. You undo the bolts and you go to wiggle it out, and all of a sudden,
oops!
How did that break? It doesn't make any sense to any of us because like the thing's literally massive.
Yeah,
and it's like I just wiggled it like, doo, 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 doo. And we haven't had a single one that hasn't done it, which is very surprising.
I've heard of them breaking, but I haven't had to pull that off. I haven't done that. I haven't gone much in on the engine stuff. We always farm that out.
Oh yeah.
And so like I'd show up and do some diagnostic initially. If it was anything in the base engine or whatever, we'd send it to a Ford dealer. And then if it was Roush,
so happy. They were probably extremely happy when those things showed up.
Oh,
you ever had to mess with the gateway module?
The gateway module,
like inside the bus, and like the LED addresses and figuring out like, yeah. So I went to Bluebird school.
Okay.
Like,
wait, are you talking about the chassis control module?
Yeah, or I guess that's what they call it, like in the middle of the bus, right in the beginning of the walkway. Yeah. So you pull that thing out, and there's a fucking box with a bunch of lights on it.
Yep.
And you like hit these sequence of buttons, and it gives you like a code for like some subsystem, and you like sit with your legs crossed and your arms crossed, and it like is supposed to do some special, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the LEDs. I don't know anybody who uses the LEDs at the dealer level where you're like, no.
I'm so glad we don't work on that stuff.
Those boxes
the only
are very
thing
simple.
Sorry, I don't mean to
No.
The only thing I gathered from the gateway module on those is don't mess with them.
Yes.
That is the only bit of information I remembered is just don't unplug it. Just don't touch it. Don't do anything to it because you're going to have a really bad time if you do.
Interesting.
This guy just emailed me. He says he's got F-250 a 2012. He goes, "Hey man, I just finished watching your video about replacing battery terminals. I am a submarine mechanic by trade."
Wow.
Wow. Damn. I want to get him on. So what do you do on a submarine? A what?
So is he saying that he couldn't figure it out?
Oh, here, I'll read it to you. Let's see what he says. "Hey man, just finished watching your video about replacing some battery terminals. I'm a submarine mechanic by trade."
Leads? Or like the actual terminals on the battery? Because I've seen that happen before and it's quite hilarious to watch.
"And I have done a lot of my own mechanical work on my truck. Feeling really stupid right now. I was having gremlins and I knew I was something electrical. Having a fear of wires, I brought it into a dealer. Turns out my terminals were cracked and they replaced the entire cable assembly. Had to cut new keys and a million other things. The total came out to $2,700. God damn. I saw this fix, took 15 minutes to accomplish what they did in 2 weeks. I've never worked in the auto repair industry, but charging $2,200 to replace a $500 harness seems steep. Do you know of any good avenues to dispute this?" Woo, Jake. Being that I'm on a podcast right now, I'm going to mark unread from here. And later, I am going to respond to you with a response requiring high-speed voice communication. Because I think going over text, we need to figure out or brainstorm on a possible avenue you could take, because that does seem kind of funny. And I don't know if the individual who was working on your truck didn't know that that was available. That's neither here nor there. However, knowing's half the battle, and
dude, that's one thing that pisses me off about working on trucks more than anything is everyone thinks that you need to just absolutely sodomize the customer, for a lack of better words. Like, what are you doing charging someone 20 hours to replace a battery harness on that?
Pretty whack, man.
It's the same guys that charge like 40 hours to do a high pressure fuel system. Like we have to make up for all the warranty time.
No. That's not.
All right.
Look, I'm on that side of the fence now.
What?
My truck's leaking oil. So it's like, now I'm on the side of the fence. It's like, what happens if I had to take my truck in to get it fixed? And, it's like, oh, gee, what's going on at the dealer? What's my truck doing? Are they hot rodding in it? Oh, man. Like, oh, they smoking in it? Oh, like, I get it. I understand. You guys remember the video that I made of the GODZILLA motor with the crank seal that I did a long time ago, back in September? Customer's totally cool. Just saw him today, and he has a noise coming from his transmission, and it's something that he's very concerned about. I get it. He paid a lot of money for his truck. I did on my truck too, and my truck's leaking oil, and I conveyed to him, I'm keeping social distance, but I tapped him on the shoulder. I'm like, brother, I get it. I just dropped $75K on my truck, and it's leaking oil. Guess what? I have to pull the trans out. I understand. Brother, I want to fix your truck. We're gonna get it handled. I sympathize. for those individuals, because it's like, you know, I totally get it, and it's sometimes that stigma of the dealers, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna go to the dealer, I'm gonna get, you know, get it handed
Dude,
to me, and
yeah,
you know, they might not fix it. Like,
I don't want to have that initial thought when someone's like, well, I don't want to bring it to the dealer because you guys charge way too much and you guys don't really know what you're doing. And
I
it's like,
cannot stand. That's one thing that bugs the hell out of me, is when I hear.
but the reason that's happening is because there's people out there that sadly work at dealerships that think the best way for them to, you know, make a dollar is just to completely screw the customer. And I'm really not okay with that.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's something that's very important to me. I have created a large following, now starting on social media, but just at my store, with my customers and word of mouth customers from them, coming in to see me, to get their truck taken care of. And it's something that I believe in, and I want to try to make their experience the best, because that is what I do not want to put out there. That, you know, you go to the dealer and you Matt, you've heard the stories. Nate, you've heard the stories. They're out there. It's not every dealer is going to be A1. Not every tech's going to be A1. But I mean, in your area, you would hope that you'd find, you know, a good repair facility. You know, they can get your truck in and out. You know, take that extra step to, you know, make you feel like you got a deal, or, you know, make you feel like you're going to want to come back, or, gee, this guy really met my expectations. I think meeting expectations for people with even a 6-7, for instance, in your situation, okay, you're starting your own business. Your truck is your everything. So if your truck's not working, you're not paying bills. And
Right.
to have that sense of urgency to get that def heater repaired, or, oh, we just sold the last one yesterday, but our local supplier or our sister store, we can have that picked up by lunch and have the truck back to you. Whatever you got to do to get the truck back. Sometimes this society that we have going on takes the lazy way the first time, and it's not, you know, about quality and doing it right the first time. Even though it may take you or inconvenience you, do what's right. If I had brought my truck in there, I would expect none less for somebody to do the exact same thing that I would normally do for them. It's important to me to deliver good service. It's important to me to try, to the best of my ability, to meet their expectations, because I feel with that view, the reciprocation back from the customer to bring their vehicle back to you, or, hey, you need to go over and see A-Rod at Bill Brown. Now I just got 10 more trucks come in. Oh shit, that's not only good for me, but that's good for the dealer. That's good for this area, because word of mouth, you know, spreads like a wildfire, and it's not advertising on TV or advertising over social media. You know, that's not always the way to get to people. People talk amongst themselves, and people who have fleets, you know, talk. Like, how many people that we have service their fleets wind up bringing us their personal vehicles? Like, that's huge when you're looking to run a business, because I mean, it's all about customer retention. And if you can, you know, convey to that customer that their investment is going to be in good hands. I'm going to work on this dude's truck just like I did today. He drove all the way from Colorado to have me do his upper oil pan. I'm going to work on his truck just like I would do my truck. I mean, there should be no second standard. There should be number one. And the guys who, without name dropping, may be young in the game, maybe not focused on quality are taking the shortcuts that aren't letting them learn.
Shouldn't be taking the shortcuts in the beginning. You got to learn how to do it the right way first.
It so bugs me. The truck came in with 10 bolts. Why do you put 8 back? Like, man, come on, bro.
Dude,
why
my
do you
biggest
that's not
my
right.
biggest pet peeve is when you go to pull a front wheel liner out and one of those little 5.5 millis is missing. I don't know why, but that just drives me up a wall.
Or somebody takes a cab off and puts the upper turbo clamp facing backwards.
I'll kill you. I will kill you for that one.
What are you doing?
Well, that's the thing is like people will sit there and be like, I didn't touch it. I didn't have someone else work on it. Well, out of the however many whatevers I've done, this clamp's supposed to be staring me right in the face, but offset a little bit like this to the point that pisses me off because I can't get a socket on it from the factory.
Now I got to get my wobbly do.
Now I got to get my 11 milli ratcheting wrench on it, or it's facing the wrong way, or now I can't get to it because you have all the clamps just pointing at each other, having a staring contest. And dude, the biggest one that pissed me off is someone loosened the Torca clamp on the downpipe when they didn't even need to, and then they didn't tighten it. What are you doing?
How many jobs you got leftover bolts for?
Me?
Where do these go?
The only time I have leftover bolts is on an engine job because it's the old bolts.
Good call, Aguado. I like that. Oh, speaking of which,
how many fan shrouds you go to pull off?
Mm-hmm.
And the furthest driver's side bolt on the bottom is missing. All of them.
I see more. Okay, look under your truck, Nate. Through the bumper, the front, like maybe you got a license plate bracket. So behind there, you'll see like these rubber air dam pieces. It kind of bolts to the bumper and helps deflect air like up into the primary radiator. And above the primary radiator, there's a piece of rubber that goes all the way across and makes contact, with the hood to make this void of, airflow. I think the most thing I see all the time is those missing. Cut, hanging, dangling like this in the wind, bumper harness just hanging, fog lights hanging. What the heck, man?
After I got the water pump done and the radiator, I popped the hood and I was looking at things. I did have what I saw is I had a 1 bolt loose from the air box that sits on top of the intake. One of those loose, whatever, ran it in. And then a harness of the Christmas tree retainers, it wasn't popped back in. So put that back in. And then a water pump bolt was sticking out like that far. They didn't even tighten it.
Wow.
I was like, okay, well, I'll call the dealer. I'll have that go back. It didn't leak. So they put a lot of that goo in there, I'm sure, and just glued the bolt in place, but the bolt wasn't doing anything. And there were 11 bolts or 15 bolts that hold the water pump in.
Yeah.
So I get how one could get missed, but it's when you're done torquing everything.
I'll tell you what.
Make sure they're all.
I hope they didn't put an aftermarket water pump on it too.
I think every time I do a water pump on the 6.7, no matter how many times, I'm like, I got all the bolts. Go to give it a little problem. I'm like, man, why isn't this thing coming? I'll go around again. I got it. I freaking missed the button. I never cease to amaze me.
You're talking about that hidden 10 mil on the bottom that you can barely see.
I get every bolt. And I always wind up missing one. I swear.
I'll take the new water pump and I'll sit there and I'll be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You son of a bitch.
You know what I wound up doing that I found next time, maybe try it. It worked out really well. It's not that much more work. Is I took the alternator bracket, power steering, and took
Oh,
it.
you take the whole thing off?
I did. I don't disconnect any lines. I disconnect the B plus off the battery,
Yeah, you just
off the
hit all
generator, and I take that whole bracket and lay it down right in front of the crank, right onto the sway bar. Boom, water pump, boy, right there. I
Dude,
need to make
remember
a
the first
video doing
time.
that way.
Remember the first time I went to take the lower shroud out? I couldn't figure out why the hell it wouldn't come out. I'm sitting there.
He's like, I
Or
couldn't
no,
figure out why the
okay,
hell
no,
it
it's not.
wouldn't
No,
come out.
it's not the lower shroud. It's the fan stator.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, all right, 13, 13, 13. And I'm like,
What the fuck?
fucking, like, how the fuck do you get this thing out of here? So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just keep twisting it and twisting it and twisting it. I'm like, getting fucking angry, screaming, getting pissed. And then I took my flashlight and like, was like, fuck this thing, right? So then I walk and go pick up my flashlight. And I'm looking in from the passenger side. I'm like,
Oh.
damn, Matt, you stupid. There's a harness clip right there.
Oh. Which always
made that
breaks,
mistake
by
again.
the way. I don't think I've ever saved one. It has broke.
Dude, the thing I don't understand is when you go to put that fan stator back in, right? You can literally just take it, push it down in there, get the rubber, stick your hands through it, and it goes right in. Why can't it come out that easy?
You know what I do? Is so I pull it off the studs, towards the radiator, and I take it and I turn it. I keep turning
No,
it.
that's what I do. I twist it out.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when you go to reinstall it, you can literally put it right back in the installed way and then take your hands on the rubber lip and push it underneath the lower shroud.
Oh, really?
It just goes in.
I twist it right back in.
No,
So
you don't
it's
even
already
need,
under that
you don't
lip.
even need to twist it in.
No shit. I've never untwisted it in.
It's like minutes to take it off and seconds to reinstall. It pisses me off.
Wow.
The other thing I noticed with those water pumps is you do not tighten down the bolts until you have every single bolt started by like 2 or 3 threads.
Most definitely.
That was another first water pump mistake. And of course, the boys aren't going to tell me this because they want me to learn. They don't want to be like, hey, by the way.
Hey, boys, I know you guys are watching over there, and you know where. Be nice to my man. He works hard. Doing
I don't know.
Lots of stuff.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would disagree with him. Matt's on his phone making TikToks again.
Utes.
I probably am. I'm probably making TikToks, but
he's a Ute.
It was a 1986 Pontiac Tempest.
Funny movie.
You know what else pisses me off?
Matt.
You know the coolant hose that goes on the little resonator on the intake? It's got that zip tie on it.
Oh, from like the secondary?
I think it's primary. Whatever.
Anywho.
It goes from the radiator and then over the little air box thing, right?
Yeah.
It's got the indent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It pisses us all off every time a truck comes in and we know it came from a different shop because they'll have the zip tie on the wrong side of the channel. You're going to look at it and you're going to know what I'm talking about and you're going to be like, damn.
I think 6, 7. Ryan and I were talking about this actually before, and I wrote myself a note. It's something I want to start making coverage on. 21 is the 10-year anniversary for the 6.7 liter. That is
quite
not really, not really counting the 7.3. I know 7.3 and people think, the 7.3 back then, and IDI and 7.3 before it was a Powerstroke, and the 7.3 back to 03. It's, but we're not. This is Ford. This engine, 10 years, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. A lot has happened. Matt, we've learned a lot. We've repaired a lot. I think it is my favoriteest engine to work on. I'm excited when people tell me they have it in their pickup trucks. I want to know, what they've done to it, if they've had any problems, any bad dealer experiences, and I want to talk about the things that have been changed from Gen 1 to Gen 2, Gen 3. I know in the very beginning we didn't like those turbos, and then we had the glow plug chips breaking off, and then 13 came the silicone for the oil pan, and then we had a turbo change, and it's just so many things evolved, and we had to evolve, and the wiring repairs we found, and then we had coolant leaks and just stuff. It just happens. It's not something that it was designed with to happen, and that's how we make money. This just happens. And then
People think I really like doing upper oil pans all the time.
no,
No, I don't. I really,
no.
It's a love-hate relationship with that. And people are like, but you can do them quick, and it's like, that's because I've done far too many of them.
Yeah, and I think, okay, so pulling the trans. When I think about pulling the trans, okay, I'm thinking about it right now. Starter, torque converter bowls, got to turn the engine over, how cramped that is, drive shaft. I mean, pulling the trans.
Dude, the thing that's dumb is the thing I hate most about that job. It's not getting my arms like just doused in oil. It's not, doing this, doing that. It's the stupid oil filter housing.
What do you mean?
The fact that I have to take that off to get to the starter just makes me angry. Like, I literally will be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, man, I got the starter in this thing. Got my torque converter nuts on. Got the trans, everything's all good. I got to put that stupid housing on. And I don't know why, it just makes me angry.
My starter, I take the fender liner out, one, and the tire. And I do my torque converter nuts through there because I pull my starter out through there. So I'm not taking a bath in the oil filter adapter while I'm doing the torque converter bolts. So I found a way, if you position the starter a certain way, it comes right up the top. Whoop. I have my boy down here sitting on the stool because I got the truck, chest height. Sit in there, got my 3/8 electric ratchet impact, fucking hit that boy, spin it, just let him drop in there, spin it, and then I'll lift it all the way up, do all my other bullshit, and then take the oil filter adapter housing off, because then I'm not going back up, as it's just douching all over me. I'll have to show you. I have a video.
Interesting.
I have a video.
Well, I take the starter off. I take the starter off. Like 10 milli, 15 milli, gone, out of my way. Because then when I go to pull the harness off, right, off the sides, you don't have this giant wad of aluminum and steel hacking up your whole ordeal.
Oh yeah, we just do it in different sequences.
That's the way, that's the way I like to do it. But my way isn't the right way. Aaron's way isn't the wrong way. That's kind of the fun thing about doing it.
I have never jacked the motor up before, and this time I did. And I know it says it in the workshop manual to do it, and I believe the workshop manual is a guide, and I look at the workshop manual all the time. But I have been able to not do it without jacking the engine up, and I jacked the engine up this time, and it was a 17, so it's a little tighter getting those back two bolts. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was way easier. So I mean, I had to take 4 fasteners out, the big long bolt, the 3 motor mount nuts, jacked it up right on the ear corner of the block. Matt says he jacks it with a block of wood right on the studs, and I put a 15 mil 3/8 impact socket. But Matt's jacked it up even higher, where he's put a 19 mil in there, and I couldn't even go anymore.
You took the engine mount bolt out?
The big one off the driver's side. I just took it all the way out.
Oh, see, I just go to the passenger side with those 324s.
And then
Get
just
my
start
big
jacking?
old 4x4, set the hoist down onto it, 19 mil goes,
No
up she
kidding.
goes, and then it just rolls her right over.
Okay, you know what? I was actually turning it. Maybe next time, because I was already on the locks on the hoist. Maybe I'll fucking do that next time. I'll actually
yeah,
just lower.
it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. See, we're
Wonder-
talking about this.
I was gonna
This is
show you
this is
a
how you
picture,
figure
but I
shit out.
can't.
This is how.
I can't show you a picture because I'm using my phone right now. But you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, I don't like doing upper.
Did you see my dog?
Yeah.
Did you see my dog?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say hi to Arch? He was
'cause
so
I was talking.
excited to be on the podcast.
Oh, Archie. Oh,
Oh,
Archie.
here he comes. Hold on. Here he comes.
Archie.
You gotta see this. You gotta see this ridiculousness. Hey, Archie, come here. Archie, come here. Come on, come here.
Look at this little bungalow.
No, just wait. Look what he's got.
What's he got?
Look at this carrot.
Oh my gosh. Giant carrot.
He's
Giant
a good
carrot.
unit.
Yeah. I think speaking of dogs, getting into a customer's car and having it smell like dog is freaking nasty, dude. I can't stand it.
The 7.3 that I sent you that put piston all through the engine, that thing smelled like weed. Oh my gosh.
7.3 what? Pickup?
Yeah, the tremor.
Dang.
That
Piston went through the what?
Everywhere.
For real?
There's this much connecting rod left on the crank, and there's
How many
piston
miles?
all over through the place. He has 24,000 on it.
Damn.
I don't know. One of the guys in our mainline shop is the one doing it, but
What color?
you get over there.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what color it is.
But it's a tremor?
Yeah, it might be like that dark red or
No shit.
black or blue. I don't remember.
I like those
That one
tremor
stinks.
tires. I like
You
those
like the
Goodyears.
Wranglers?
I like those. I wonder how they wear.
They
Probably
do.
like
I've never had a customer with good success of Wranglers
Really?
on anything.
What kind of tires you got on yours, Nate?
On a Jeep or anything.
I have factory tires, the Michelin's.
Oh, are you? Okay. I got those
Do
too,
you-
and
do you like the
I
Michelins?
don't like them.
I do like them.
Do you?
Actually. So
Okay.
Are you getting like a good wear pattern out of them, or?
Are you doing
yeah,
front to
I don't have any
back?
issues.
Are you doing crisscross?
Crisscross.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So when I worked for the dealer here, I was in a 2014 F-250. So 90,000 miles on it, somewhere in there. And those tires wore really well. They did well in the snow when I had to go over the pass. They're quiet, so I liked them. I went through a set of them. I think they lasted around like 60,000 miles, 60,000, which is pretty decent for an all-terrain tire that works in the snow. Or I had decent luck with them in the snow anyway. And yeah, so I just kept that. And then when I got the truck, when I bought the truck new, the one I have now, the tires were there. They needed to be replaced. So they're like, yeah, we'll replace them. I said, perfect. Throw the factory ones on.
No kidding.
They're like, okay. So I got a brand new set, and I've got almost 30,000 miles on it, on the tires, and
Look good.
yeah, they look great.
Maybe I
Yeah.
got something going on with my alignment or something. My steering wheel, I don't have any pulls. My steering wheel clear vision is good. I've talked about this before in other videos and other podcasts. I just have very unusual tire wear. Like they are really feathered. Like I'm only driving in like parking lots, and it's just what? Like I don't understand. I'm crisscrossing them. Tire pressure's
Maybe
right on
it's-
point.
Maybe it's a Michigan road thing.
Maybe I got to check my toe. Maybe
Yeah, I don't
my
know, 'cause,
shit's
like,
scrubbing. I don't know.
9 out of 10 of our customers do not like those Michelins, which I find very interesting. But the fact that you're having good success with them makes me happy. Sorry, I gotta plug my phone in.
Thanks.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I know it's going to be something I'm going to try to get figured out, because I don't know if I'm going to stick with them. If I'm going to ride them out, if I am going to say something about them, get replacement tires or get a credit to another set of tires. I'm not really feeling, for the little of the snow, I guess I couldn't really use that as a, we got like, I don't know, Rye, what do you think that was? 3 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches we got, maybe?
Yeah, something
Maybe,
like that.
maybe. I think they weren't that good in there, but it was real wet. If we had got more snow and maybe, it wasn't as wet, it would have been a little easier to drive, but I don't have good things to say about them right now.
The weight may make a difference because I've got quite a bit of weight in the back of the truck right now. But even before I put the toolboxes and everything back there, I drove it a couple times last winter, like January. I went to Colorado. Actually, that was Thanksgiving, so 2019. Went to Colorado for Thanksgiving, and it was a nasty snowstorm all the way there, and didn't have any problems. But we had, I've got my wife, 2 kids. I don't think we had our dogs with us in the truck with our stuff in the bed. But yeah, I had no issues on the snow there.
Oh,
And then in January, we made a trip to Utah, and it was a similar thing, snow most of the way there.
no
And
kidding.
yeah, I didn't have any problems there. And here in Washington, we get a lot of the wet, heavy snow. And yeah, maybe the weight makes a difference.
Do you have the electronic 4x4, or do you have manual 4x4 shift?
But electronic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
I know I forget
maybe,
to.
Maybe I'm the anomaly with the tires. I'm the only one who likes them. I don't know.
I don't know. I know my buddy has the Goodyear Kevlar, like Assurance, Goodyear Assurance. It's got Kevlar or something on the side. He's gotten decent mileage on those, and has got no complaints. But
I think it's just hard to get good longevity out of a LT tire.
mm-hmm. It is definitely something we can talk about and brainstorm. I definitely am inquiring about getting different tires, but that's going to be, probably not going to be coming up soon. I'm got my mind focused on repairing my oil leak. I'm not too happy about that, but going to have to figure it out. Hopefully it's going to be a rear crank seal, pull trans. But I think it's going to be a learning experience. Never had a 2020, ripped into a 2020, and see what's up. I've never done anything other. What have I done on 2020? Nothing but maintenance. I haven't had really any. I replaced a mass airflow sensor in one.
I think the most I've done with a 2020 is replacing EGT4, NOx 2, and particulate matter sensors, because some goofy people decided they were going to come onto our lot one night and try to steal DPS off of our trucks. So that's the most I've had to deal with those.
Those mother scratchers.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be a good time to end it here. We got to get DS, Daddy Diesel, back on here. Shout out to my work, Bill Brown Fleet. Check us out at billbrownford.net. And another announcement: you can now find all of our podcasts, 1 through currently 16 as of today, the 13th of January, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, and Amazon Music. So not only here on YouTube with people who don't have YouTube Red and can't have their phone off and play in the background, we are now going to be able to accommodate you guys so that you can check us out anytime that you want. So big shout out to Nate for tuning in over there on the West Coast. We really appreciate you tuning in and joining us tonight. Matt, Ryan, as always. And make sure to check my email up here above my head. And if you want to get into this podcast and have a discussion about just real life stuff going on, talking about trucks and keeping it real, shoot me an email. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time.